Ask the Right Questions with Paul Lafleur and Fab, moi. We're testing out a new platform, so you might not be able to hear anything. Maybe we're just gesticulating. Who knows? Is this way? Whatever. Should be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's a platform that I've used from time to time. So here we go. Hi, Paul.
I had to talk about I had to say something.
I was monologuing. All right, cool. I'm really happy that we're doing this as usual. I think we wanted to talk about recruitment or hiring in sales and in marketing, but we had started kind of following up on last week's episode on demoing and when SaaS companies need to demo. And so you were bringing up some extra interesting points. So let's hear what you have to say and let's see where this goes.
So traditionally, you're doing a demo to obviously try to incite someone. And then, after the demo, often people say, hey, what's your price? How much does it cost? And as we were saying last week, well, it's probably not the right approach, because what you want to do in a demo, what you're trying to do is you should be asking questions and doing that discovery call and still going deep into it. The demo doesn't take care of your whole sales process.
Yeah.
And the question you asked me, which is a really good question, but I think there's a lot of answers to it, is when do you do the demo?
Yeah.
And I think it depends on your product, right? Now, we were just saying before when we decided to have this conversation 3 minutes ago, that, for example, if you're, let's say, trying to choose a CRM, and you're going to demo a few of them. Let's be really honest here. Some CRMs are better than others, but let's say in the good CRM field, let's say you're talking about those few different companies that are really offering good value.
Yep.
The features generally tend to resemble each other.
Yeah.
And my question there to you, as a marketing guy, is maybe it becomes sort of like buying a car. All the cars are going to get you to work. They all have 4 seats. It's going to really depend on color, feel, and all that stuff. So that's where I think the demo is important, because these are things you can't express visually necessarily by talking to someone and asking questions. You're not going to necessarily in a discovery call find out if the person likes the look of Pipedrive over HubSpot or Salesforce over HubSpot or Pipedrive over Salesforce, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I think, as I was saying last week, your demo does not replace your discovery call. And be careful, because if you lean on your demo, it's a dangerous thing. Your demo doesn't do your sales for you. Now, if you're a small company, you say, well, we've always sold just from doing demos and everything's going well. Well, maybe there's an opportunity to sell more, or maybe things are good for you. But I'm not willing to say, like some salespeople are saying, scrap the demo, take it off your marketing, but take the marketing button off. Bad demos are bad, they're evil. When the guy's been selling, millions of dollars a year with his demo, and all of a sudden, I don't know. What's your opinion on that?
I think you bring up a few valid points. So one is, obviously it depends what your product is, right? You're right in comparing some like a CRM to a car, and like ultimately it helps you build. It should be allow you to build relationships with your customers and whatnot. And fundamentally they all have similar functionalities. They all have like a pipeline, whatever they call it, sales process, pipeline, whatever. They all have deals or opportunities, or obviously the labels will change, but they'll all track your emails. They'll all allow you to track calls. They're all going to do the same thing ultimately. So then you just have to see, well, is it important? Is that quote unquote test drive, which is what I would compare the demo to, important? So is it important in that, well, people are expecting it at this point? When you're buying a car, you're kind of expecting to do that test drive. Or is it that, we're just relying on it, you know what I mean? And so I think
awesome.
It's ultimately a matter of testing things out, right?
Yeah, it's an awesome analogy, because some people buy a car without a test drive.
Yep.
And some people absolutely necessarily have to have a test drive. So I think that's a perfect example. And the demo is a little bit of a test drive. It's also, you might not be, the thing is you can't lean just on the test drive to sell your car. It's not like they're going to eliminate all the salespeople, say, look, just come in for a test drive and then, we'll negotiate the contract, right? So
Yeah.
there still needs to be some questions and depth, particularly when it's a B2B product that has maybe way more features than you're showing, and you're just giving more a feel for if it's a new product or something that's never been used before. Well, then maybe the demo is important because you have the option of creating this beautiful visual. To me, you're creating this beautiful visual experience, like a movie. Use it. Like, why would you get rid of a demo? I mean, use it. Just use it at the right time in the sales process. That's all. I think we're both saying the same thing there, right?
Yeah, and I think as sales and marketing leaders, whether it's the same person as a CRO or two different entities, I think we need to try things out. Obviously, you need a certain volume to be able to test things out well. But I think you need to test things out. Like, do you need to go through deep questioning and then tailor your demo? Well, you said you absolutely needed to do call. I mean, let's take the CRM example. You needed to check. This is how, like HubSpot tracks calls. This is all the things you can do with the call tracking. These are also all the third-party platforms, like we integrate with AirCall and whatnot as well, and this and that. And so you're tailoring the demo on what's, and I realize those are more what questions and not why, but you're tailoring that demo based on what the person wants, and even in the why, like, well, this is how you track your revenue, and this is how you track salesperson productivity, and forget about like, oh, well, this is how you create a deal. Oh yeah, HubSpot calls it deals. I know Salesforce calls it opportunities, but it's, like, it's just at that point it's like irrelevant to the person, because in my hypothetical example, they know the CRM is going to have some sort of a pipeline, whatever you call it. There's going to have a pipeline with deals or opportunities or whatever you call it. And I think that's where the demo comes in. So where does that fit in? Does it fit in straight up front and you use it to ask questions? Do you ask your questions and then give your demo? Do you ask your questions and then schedule a demo later on, like as a second appointment? I think those are all tests and tweaks that you need to do along the way. And I think you need to be, well, I don't think you need to keep marketing involved with that, because if as marketers we don't know, and then on our website we're like, oh, request a demo, and then the person is like, whoa, the salesperson is like, whoa, there's no actual demo, like I'm gonna ask questions, and so then we're setting up for some an awkward situation for that prospect. But then marketing also has stuff to test out, right? Maybe saying on your website, everybody says request a demo, but maybe saying something like, is HubSpot, whatever, good for, or like, questions CRM, the right one for you? And then they click it and they're really just scheduling a call with you, and you're trying to see if it's a good fit, right? Well, maybe that has a better conversion than request a demo. So, I think there's some tests to do.
I kind of know the answer because I know you, but you kind of have to test these things out, right? Fab is what you're going to say. Nothing's perfect. So you're probably going to see, well, okay, I'm going to decide how I use the questions to my demo. Do I ask questions before I do the demo? Do I make sure I do a discovery call before? These are all things you should test, but I'm definitely not willing to say scrap the demo. I think this is what I wanted to say. I definitely wanted to say, don't scrap the demo, use it properly. Scrapping the demo might be more of a fashion thing, or it's a big statement, but to me, it's a mistake. Now it's a mistake, but the demo can become, like we've talked about this before, if you're leaning on your presentation to do the sales for you, if you're leaning on your demo to do the sales for you, unless you're demoing something really simple, like I don't know, an elastic band or a pen, you're not doing a B2B, discovery call, but B2C demo.
And I would sit with marketing and I would test out, like, here are the 3 scenarios, let's say we want to test, like demo up front or question up front, and then question plus demo, whatever, something like that, and when I say demo up front, is demo with questions embedded, and then you can work with marketing to see, okay, well, that means there's 3 different types of call to action. So like the salesperson know, okay, this person clicked on a fit call to action, which is all asking questions first, and this person, or have different sales people that do different approaches to test things out. Like, I think those things need to be tested out. It's not because everybody says request a demo and then everybody hops into a demo that is the right way to do it. I think there's different products, there's different software, and there's different qualities. I don't know if that's the right word, but competencies of salespeople, right? Like some people have a hard time asking questions, and maybe if they're using the demo too much as a crutch, and so then maybe we need to do more questioning. So you know, like I think there's a lot of variables, and I think if we're just going one way and you're doing it one way,
yeah, a lot of people have a hard time asking questions, but most people, I would say, and I think it's all human beings. I certainly will put myself in a natural context. I'll put myself in that situation. Is that, and this is a whole other discussion, but people have a hard time listening to the answers of their questions.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the challenge what I find, like this is from personal experience, both having been a marketer in a SaaS company and having been the purchaser of SaaS products, is I find, you know, demos are rarely flexible enough to be able to address questions properly. So, you know, some reps will have presentations and like a PowerPoint is like horrendously not customized, right? Especially if you're jumping into the call with your PowerPoint demo or presentation. You know, some demos are like, some software are hard to demo on a custom scale because, well, this person wants this and that's like 6 clicks away, and that person wants that and that's over there, and it makes it look more complicated than it is. So I think you just need to be aware of the complexity and I think I'm going to say it, and maybe that's too much of a marketing answer, but you need to worry about the end user, the customer, the potential customer's experience. If the demo is impossible to customize, well, you know, like maybe you need to train your salespeople better, or maybe you need to do something else, because if you're going to ask me questions and then disregard them and just jump into a generic presentation or a generic demo of like clicking through specific links, you know, that's not a great experience for me.
And you see that a lot, right? There's a lot of, I don't want to say novice, but sloppy salespeople, and there's unfortunately a lot of them. And I'm sure I've made the mistake myself in the past. I can't think of an anecdote now, but where you're asking questions, you have your demo in your mind, you're asking questions, you don't really answer the questions, and you're then jump into your demo because you're nervous. And I mean, I totally remember that when I started in broadcast in 1993. I was selling local TV. You know, I was selling commercials on TV.
Yeah.
And I remember, I still remember this day, you know, I would ask a few questions and I'd say, well, look, this show does this and this is what and I'd read off a bunch of stuff. And, you know, I wasn't at all connecting with the individual. I mean, I hadn't really gotten official sales training yet, so I really sucked.
Yeah.
When I sold, it's because I got lucky. But it was a good learning experience. But all that to say that I had a presentation then, but, you know, really when you're selling TV, your whole TV station is a demo, right?
Yeah.
So we would show example of commercials but it was a wrong way to sell, right? And I wish I wish older me could go back and train younger me. Which I did eventually. But it's a perfect example of a demo. If there's, you know, as a broadcaster, you've got hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of demo.
Yeah.
But if you're a really good salesperson, you know, you're demoing your product to a certain extent, but you're really asking the questions as to what the business needs are, particularly in a B2B, like, you know, as a salesperson who's selling to another business, if you don't grasp that motivation to buy at one point, well, you're just lucky if they buy from your demo.
Yeah.
But anyways, I think I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? Because I think we've really circled around this one.
I mean, maybe if I sum it up, it's like, you know, test it out. Every product is different. Every market is different. If you're selling CRMs versus accounting software, you know, accounting software is maybe much more different, you know, than maybe CRMs. And so I think there's a lot of testing to do. Definitely keep sales and marketing afoot, but, you know, also don't forget that sales people, for sure, marketers as well, need coaching and training and this and that. And so it's not because the question first and demo after isn't working for you that it's not a good idea. Maybe there's a competency issue there, right? So that would be it. There we go. That was demos and SaaS part 2.
Yes, I think that's great. Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Let's finish it here, and next time we'll do hiring and recruiting in sales and marketing.
Perfect.
Bye, Paul.
Bye.